Hey everybody, Nomalanga, I'm Charlie Moses here with the Nomalanga Show. We are live at flyingthequeen.com. Please text the word Queens to 31996 so that you can get notifications when we are live at Flying the Queen. So great news today. Jay-Z went from the project and finally to a billionaire. I'm reading an article here from Forbes. The article is from Forbes. And I just want to highlight a few quick things right before I get into the article. In the article, it mentions, these are all facts that I think we've all known, that Jay-Z grew up in the projects. I believe the projects are called Marcy in New York City. Then he went on to become a drug dealer. Hi, Boswell. He says blessings. Thank you for joining us. So he went from the project in Marcy. He was a drug dealer, then he became a rapper, and then a businessman. And now he went from millionaire status to billionaire status. And what I love about this article is that it states all the facts, so we can go through and kind of, glean the steps that he took to get there. So the article, like I said, is from Forbes. So I just want to give a few quick highlights. Apparently almost 10 years ago, Warren Buffett, here's the first lesson. Jay-Z sat down with Warren Buffett 10 years ago. Warren Buffett is the richest man I've ever heard of in the United States. And he continues to always get richer and richer. I remember watching a documentary about him some years ago, and he just has a way with picking stocks that end up turning into millions and millions and millions for him. But back to the story. Here's the first key. He met with Warren Buffett. The writer here says that they chatted over malts and continuing the conversation. And then Buffett, then 80, walked away impressed with the artist 40 years his junior. He's talking about Jay-Z. Walked away impressed with Jay-Z. He says, Jay is teaching in a lot bigger classroom than I'll ever teach in. I think he's talking about the fact that he has a huge platform, right? For a young person growing up, he's the guy to learn from. This moment, which was originally captured in a Forbes magazine in 2010, made it clear that Jay-Z already had a blueprint for his own 10-figure fortune. Hip hop from the beginning has always been aspirational, he said. So the first thing, hi Arthur, he says, love y'all queens, thank you. Hi Renee, she says, amen. Thank you guys for joining me. We're talking about how Jay-Z went from the Marcy Project in New York City to now becoming a billionaire. I just want to clarify, I've been seeing articles saying that he's the first billionaire produced by hip hop. And some people said, well, what about Dr. Dre? Wasn't he a billionaire first? And from what I can gather and reading through, he almost became a billionaire, but not quite. He reached as far as 880 million, but didn't quite get there. So he's not a billionaire yet. Okay, so Jay-Z is the first. Okay. So now let's hear a little bit about how he did it. Okay. So this guy goes in to tell us about how he did it. He says it encompasses liquor, art, real estate. He has homes in Los Angeles and the Hamptons and Tribeca, and he has stakes in companies like Uber. Here's the second lesson that we can glean from. He diversified his investments. Okay, there's liquor, there's art, there's real estate, and then investing in companies like Uber. Uber was a startup, and these startup companies like Airbnb, Uber, these were all things that when I was growing up certainly didn't exist. There was no Uber, there was no Airbnb. These are all newer companies that came along in my while I've been an adult. Okay, so he's diversifying his investments, and he's investing in new things, new technologies, things that I'm sure if they weren't there when I was growing up, they weren't there when he was growing up. Okay, so that's the second thing. So a little bit about him. His journey is all the more impressive given its start. Brooklyn's notorious Marcy housing project. He was a drug dealer. This is something that we've always known before becoming a musician. Then he started his own label, Rockefeller Records, and he released his debut, Reasonable Doubt, in 1996. He then amassed 14 #1 albums. billions, okay? 22 Grammy Awards and over 500 million in pre-tax earnings in a decade, in 10 years. He amassed 500 million, okay? So that's the second, no, that's the third pointer that I'm just extracting things in his journey. The third thing is he found something that he was good at and he did it, and he went all out with it. So he was a musician, and he became successful in what he was gifted in, okay? Then crucially, he realized he should build his own brands rather than promote someone else's. There we go again. Something that we're always talking about is whether you should work for somebody else or work for your own company or your own family. So instead of promoting other people's brands and businesses and what have you, he decided to create his own product and then promote his own product, especially since his platform was growing and he was exposed to many people. So he did this. The clothing line Rockaware started in 1999, and he sold it for $204 million to Iconics in 2007. So he started in 1999, and 8 years later, he sold it for $204 million. Then there's, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Dusty, a cognac he co-owns with Bacardi, entitled a music streaming service. Let me see what else. Okay, so this person really went in and broke down how he got to these billions, okay? Or how he got to his first billion. So what's Jay-Z worth? To calculate his net worth, they looked at the artist's stakes in companies like Amanti Brignac Champagne, applying the customary discount to private firms. He owns 100% in this cognac company. Then they added up his income, subtracting a healthy amount to account for a superstar lifestyle. So they took into account that he spends a lot, right? If they say superstar lifestyle, that means he spends a lot, okay? Then they checked the numbers with a roster of outside experts to ensure these estimates were fair and conservative. So they were actually being conservative, so it means that he may have reached billionaire status long before this article was published. So they conservatively looked at his income and looked at his assets and then came up with the story that he has now reached billionaire status. It turns out Jay-Z really is a businessman. Okay, so let's look at how he got there. First of all, there's the Amanti Brignac. I'm not sure that's how you pronounce it. It's worth $310 million. He has used his music to push this $300 gold bottles of the Ace of Spades champagne, which he launched the brand in his 2006 video, Show Me What You Got. And then more recently, his verse on Meek Mill's What's Free put a $500 million value on the wine, which seems like a bit too much, but it is what it is, right? Then he had cash investments. So first it's the cognac, the champagne, sorry. Then the next thing, which is 310 million, right? Then it's cash investments, 220 million, okay? Vast investment portfolio includes a stake in Uber, again, investing in new technologies and new inventions and new things, which has a worth of an estimate of 70 million. He reportedly purchased his piece for 200 million in 2013. So he made a $2 million investment in 2013, and 6 years later, in 2019, it's worth 70 million. So it multiplied 35 times over. Apparently, he had also tried to inject another 5 million after the 2 million. So what's 7 times 35? I'm not sure, but what I'm saying is if he had been able to inject that 35 million, that extra 5 million, then what he is worth now would have been even more. But apparently they turned him down so he wouldn't own too much of their company. Dusty is the cognac, which is worth 100 million. 100 million, guys. Jay-Z's cognac, a joint venture with the beverage giant Bacardi, moves almost 200,000 cases and has grown nearly 80% annually. I want to say, guys, that there was an article, I don't even remember the girl's name, and she has an Instagram star, right, who has 2.5 million followers. And then she partnered with a company, and they wanted her to produce some t-shirts. and she had to sell at least 36 t-shirts before the company would go along with the deal. And do you know, even with 2.5 million followers, she couldn't sell 36 t-shirts. Okay, and why am I bringing this up? I'm impressed by the fact that Jay-Z built a huge following and got a fan base, but was able to convert the following to people who actually buy his products or the products that he invests in. And he has a keen eye for knowing that people love me. This is what they see, and this is what they love about me, and these are the products that they associate with me and the lifestyle that they love. And so if I attach myself to this product, people will buy this product, okay? Which is a huge difference between having a huge following and then randomly doing a product that doesn't have much to do with why people are following you, and then you end up not being able to sell 36 t-shirts and you have 2.5 million people following you. Statistically, having had a sales background, one thing I can tell you about if you're good at what you do in terms of selling, at least 10% of the people who are exposed to whatever product or service that you have will buy from you. They will buy from you, so 10%, right? So this young lady with 2 million followers, over 2 million followers, should have had at least 200,000 people buy from her. And she couldn't even get 200 people to buy. I don't think she could get, 20, she couldn't get even, listen, she needed 200,000, couldn't even get 20,000, couldn't even get 2,000, couldn't get 200. Maybe she got 20, and that's sad, okay? But anyway, let's continue. So the other thing is the cognac, which is 100 million. Then this title in 2015, you should pay attention to when these things are done, guys. And he bought title in 2015. That was 4 years ago. He submitted a bid to purchase the Scandinavian streaming service parent company to the service company for just shy of 60 million. He relaunched Tidal later that year with a roster of celebrity investors, including his wife, Beyonce, and other music luminaries. So he invested 60 million and it's now worth 100 million. So 40 million made in 4 years. That's 10 million every year. Okay. Then the next thing is Rock Nation, which is worth 75 million. This wide-ranging entertainment company started over a decade ago as part of a joint venture with concert giant Live Nation. Let's see. It's sports agency Kevin Durant, Todd, as well as this record label and artist management company. Okay, and Rihanna. Okay, so he partnered with concert giant and they formed Rock Nation, and now it's worth 75 million. And he did this, let me see, he doesn't say what year he did this. Then the next thing is his music catalog, which is worth 75 million. Before the beginning of his stint as Def Jam's chief in 2004, Jay-Z negotiated the eventual return of his master recordings from the record label and helped launch his career in a separate deal with EMI, and he went back to publishing. He took back his publishing rights. This is a wise move because his hits now clock close to 1 billion streams annually. So his music catalog is worth 75 million. If I was to tell you how many people have a lot of talent, all these musicians, all these entertainers that you see who have a lot of talent, but don't have good business sense, will not own their master recordings. So they effectively just become employees to these record companies. So what they do is they basically sing for them, entertain for them, and then the people who actually own the masters are the ones who go on to make the millions, and they get whatever they give them. So that's something to pay attention to. I know the same thing was true about Master P. I also want to point out the same thing was true about, it's not the same thing, but the boxer that everybody makes fun of that he can't even read. Somebody in the comments can remind me his name. Floyd Mayweather. People make fun of him for not being able to read or not being literate, but he's one of the smartest people that I've heard about and read about, because what he does is he does everything himself and keeps the money for himself, right? So he owns everything. He doesn't have somebody own the company and try and turn him into an employee and send him out to work for him, and then they make all the money. He makes his own money through his own company, promotes his own fights so that he keeps his money. Okay. Next is art collection. Who would have thought? Jay-Z has an art collection worth $70 million. Okay. In the song Picasso Baby, Jay-Z boasted about I'm not sure how to pronounce it, a Basquiat in my kitchen corner. And likely he wasn't kidding, because over a decade ago, he scooped up the masterpiece, the Basquiat called Mecca. He purchased it in 2013 for a reported $4.5 million. He's rapped about it in all detail. And Jay-Z helped educate millions of hip hop fans, mentioning Jean Michael. So now his art collection is worth $70 million. So that 4.5 million piece is just one of his 70 million collection. Then, guys, this is what I've known for years and years and years. I'm not sure what the percentage is, but most millionaires own real estate. Okay, they own real estate. So the next thing is he has 50 million in real estate. After they had their twins, after him and Beyonce had their twins in 2017, Jay-Z and Beyonce bought a pair of homes to match. A $26 million East Hampton mansion, an $88 million Bel Air estate, and Jay-Z also owns a Tribeca penthouse that he bought for $6.85 million in 2004. So that's 26 plus 88 and 6. That sounds like more than the 50 million, but the real estate is 50 million. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's how the man went from being a drug dealer on the corner in the project of Marcy to a billionaire. So the lessons that I extracted from there was, number one, his meeting with Warren Buffett, which to me suggests that he had mentorship and he had role models that he followed. That's one of the first things. Then the second thing that I noticed was that he diversified his investments. It wasn't just he didn't just become a rapper and stay a rapper. When he made money rapping, he put it into other things. Then the other thing that I also noticed was he was interested in new technology. He invested in Uber. I noticed that a lot of people, when they used to talk about technology, maybe 10 years ago, maybe more, you'd always hear about these overnight successes and millionaires coming from the tech industry. So you don't have to be a tech person, but you can invest in it, which he did, and he benefited from Uber. Then the third thing was that he invested in real estate. Like I said, most millionaires and billionaires, wealthy people, always invest in real estate. So that was just my quick take on how Jay-Z went from being a kid from the projects to being a billionaire. Just want to say, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to flynubianqueen.com, flynubianqueen.com. You can also text the word queens to 31996 for alerts when all the queens or any of the queens are live on the Fly Nubian Queen channel. For those of you just tuning in, I am about to sign out, but before I go, I would like to make a plea to you guys. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, but I'm right now in Botswana, which is my country of birth. We have started a nonprofit organization, and how this organization started was that we became aware that there are young girls in schools, especially in the rural and remote areas of Botswana and other African countries, who are missing school because they do not have sanitary pads. Now, they need sanitary pads every month, so that means every month they're missing days of school, and this sometimes leads to some of them dropping out or just not showing up to school. So what we did was we started an initiative where we're going to be delivering free pads to these girls, and we need your help. So please go to padsforourgirls.com. The link is right there in the comment section. I'll put it there in the comment section. It's padsforourgirls.com. Please donate any amount. It helps. It's padsforourgirls.com. And for anybody who happens to be in Botswana, you can call There's a number on my page, and I will also put it here. You can call and you can drop off actual pads. And very soon we'll be visiting schools. We hope to share the journey with you. We hope you'll tune in and see us. I'll be posting videos and photos as we go to different schools, meet the young girls, and deliver to them the supplies that they need. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Nomalanga. This is the Nomalanga Show, and we are live at flynubianqueen.com. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye.